Well, hello again. And can you believe it? We are up to episode 50. 50 episodes of this series. And I want to give a big thank you to everyone who's watched these videos, who have subscribed, who have provided comments and guidance and encouragement down in the comments section. Everybody who gave me a thumbs up for my episodes, thank you so much. Like I said at the beginning, I'm new at engine building. This is my first engine rebuild. I'm recording everything so that I have a documentation of what goes where and where came, what did this bolt or that bolt come from. So I figured why not just upload it on YouTube and share it with everybody and see who wants to join me for this journey. So anyway, big thanks again to everybody for coming along on this ride with me. If you're new, or if you've just kind of been watching the last couple episodes just to start, go back and check my first episode, number 1, and that'll tell you kind of my big picture project. Episode 1 shares what I'm trying to get out of this, what my intent is, what my history and, my mechanical skills and what I have done before and what I haven't done before, and shows you the vehicle that this engine's going in, and why I decided to rebuild instead of just buy a crate engine and swap. So definitely go back if you're new to these episodes. You've only caught the last one, or maybe this is the first one you watched. Definitely go back and check out episode number 1. And also, I've got dozens of hours of content. So if you're looking for just something specific, how to remove a certain part or how to put a certain part on, I've tried to label each episode fairly well, so you can, if you don't want to watch the whole series, if you just want to see, well, how did I put on, I don't know, the pistons, then there's an episode dedicated just to that. And also, what I tell people, a lot of my episodes are between 20 and 30 minutes long. I'm trying not to make them too terribly long. I know everybody's time is valuable. But another way I like to watch YouTube videos is I like to watch it in double speed. And I know sometimes I talk fast. Most of the time I talk pretty slow. So if you think, oh my gosh, this is taking forever for him to get done with this, go down to the wheel, to the settings, and change the playback speed to 2 times. So a 30-minute video of mine will only take you 15 minutes to get through, or however it works for you. So here we are, episode 50, and this engine is almost done. Okay, but what do I do to pass the time while I'm waiting for parts? Because as I've been doing this series, I bought a lot of parts up front, but I didn't buy everything up front because I didn't, quite frankly, didn't know what I would need. So I'd get to a certain point, and then I'd either have to, return parts that I already got because maybe it wasn't the right thing, or I just didn't have it at all. So, but I didn't decide until I got to that step. So I had to order it and wait for it to come in, because I'm pretty much mail ordering everything. There's been a few things I've gotten from my local auto parts store like Advanced Auto or AutoZone or O'Reilly's, but almost everything is either coming from Summit, or a lot of parts I've just found on Amazon or Rock Auto. Rock Auto I've been using a lot, but they make you pay for shipping, so their cheap prices are offset a little bit by them charging you shipping. So anyway, I've used pretty much all of them, all the above. And they're all good, quite frankly. So I've even bought a few parts off eBay, which I really try not to do, but I have bought 1 or 2 things from eBay. So anyway, now I'm waiting for my headers to arrive. So killing some time here, waiting for headers to arrive. I will show I'm not going to post this installment or this episode until I have the headers in, because I want episode 50 to be my last episode with the engine completely done. Okay, so this one might run a little bit longer than most of the other videos, but what I've been doing to pass the time is look at this behemoth of a harness, a wiring harness. So if you go back to episode 1 and episode 2, and you'll see the engine that I'm rebuilding isn't the engine that's currently in the Suburban. Okay, I wanted to keep the downtime of the Suburban limited. So what I did was I got a wrecked, I got an engine from a wrecked Suburban that's identical, LC9, that's identical to the engine I have in the Suburban right now. I tore that completely down and rebuilt that to my liking, and then I'll put that into the Suburban. So that engine that I bought, if you recall back episode 1 and 2, it came complete. It had everything on it except for the exhaust manifolds, which doesn't matter because I wasn't going to use those anyway. I wanted to upgrade to headers. So anyway, it came with the wiring harness and the computer. So rather than using my wiring harness that's already in the Suburban right now, I thought, well, let me just, those looms, those plastic looms, they get real brittle over time and they just break down. And let me just make sure that all of the wiring is in good shape, that there's no fractures, frays, shorts anywhere. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the wiring harness that came with the engine I'm rebuilding, and I'm basically reconditioning it. So here it is here. I've got it stretched over a ladder. Basically what I'm doing here is, believe it or not, this wiring harness is from an engine that's 2 years newer. Remember, my engine came from a 2010 Suburban, and I'm putting this in a 2008. So this wiring harness, believe it or not, actually, even though it's only 2 years older, 2 years newer, is in much better shape than the wiring harness that I currently have in the Suburban. But I wanted to take it even a step further. And what I have done, and here's some of it that I've already worked on, I have removed all of this kind of loom stuff, because this crap becomes very brittle over time and just becomes problematic, exposes wirings. What I have done is I have removed, I'm about a third of the way done. I've removed the loom, and I have wrapped the wire harness in this tape that's called Tesa tape. And I did some research, and this is the tape that I got here, Tesa tape version 51036. And I did some research online, and I said, okay, I just Googled how to dress up or how to recondition wire harness. And almost every video I came across suggested to use this Tesa tape to forgo this loom stuff, okay, which is just plastic and becomes brittle, and instead just wrap the wires in this Tesa tape. And that's what I'm in the process of doing to kind of kill time until the last of my parts arrive. And you can see I've got a long way to go yet, right? And of course, before when I was tearing the engine down, I labeled every single connection. So everything's still labeled here. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm doing a little bit at a time. So I'm, basically starting at ends, and I'm working my way up. And when I come across one of these, basically I remove it from the wire loom. Gosh, I think I pretty much got all of them removed. But basically when I come across, like here's one right here. So when I come across one of these, I'll like tape it going down, 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 down. I'll tape it and then I'll stop. And then I'll cut this off. I'll remove it. And then I will peel more of this off and continue to tape it. And then when I get to the spot, I'll put this back on. Okay, because what you can do, because this is just like basically a zip tie, so you can just cut the zip tie right there, and then there's enough left over on this part here to still use it and zip it back in there after I put the tape on. And quite frankly, like here's a good example. That's what's the problem with these loom things. They degrade. Whereas this will not happen with the Tesa tape. Look how much nicer that looks. I mean, it's still a little bulky. I mean, there's no way to make these look really nice. I mean, you could, I don't know, I guess you could get some braided, coverings or some colored looms or whatever. I don't know, maybe even some shrink tape, some heat shrink tape. There's a variety of different ways to do this, but almost everybody that I saw on that was doing a restoration project used this brand here, Tesa tape. Okay, and I bought like a 5-pack roll of it on Amazon for, I don't know, I don't even remember how much it was. It was like $25 or something like that. It was under 30. But anyway, yeah, all this is going to get removed and just wrapped in Tesa tape. So anyway, and it's just real simple. I just literally just get it started, overlap it a little bit, and just loop it down, just loop it around. So I'm not sure if I'm going to record any of that, me doing that. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But anyway, that is what I'm doing until the headers arrive. And once the headers arrive, I'm going to tack that onto this video and wrap it up for episode 50. So hang in there, and I'll be right back. All right, what the heck? I thought, might as well go ahead and do a little bit of this wrap here. So where are we going to start? I always like to start at the end and work my way up to these junctions and then keep going. So so anyway, yeah, this will be real interesting to see what I do with this. So anyway, so just some basic tools. Some scissors go a long way. And yeah, you can see clearly this is a mess. And I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this off. Now, what I'm trying to do here is remember where this clip goes. And I'm basically gonna say, okay, it's about a finger length from the edge of the the clip here. So so anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and slide that down. And I'm gonna go ahead and get my Tesa tape. And I don't know, I think it's probably good practice just to leave, a ½ inch or so of wires exposed just for flexibility. Now I'm gonna wrap it onto itself, okay? All right, so I'm just kind of getting it started there. And then I'm gonna start wrapping it downward. And then I'm gonna take up all that extra. And then I don't pull it out very much, just to kind of keep it tight. Okay. Gosh. And I will point out that this Tesa tape has a fairly good degree of heat resistance. So, obviously I think it's gonna serve me better than just standard wire looms. Okay, so I'm gonna cut it here, and I'll show you why here in a minute, so hang in there. And it's okay to cut it and just start over, just as long as you back it over on itself. And I'll show you what I mean here in a minute. Now we could just slide this right up here, and boom, there it goes. And I'm gonna put this back on here so I don't misplace this. All right, now we're gonna slide this up and just leave it dangle, because it doesn't really have to have a be locked on. Okay, so you see what I'm doing? I'm pulling some off here, and I'm going to remove this tape. I'm just gonna pull this off. All right. Now, some of the tape that I'm inheriting, I leave on, right? Why not? It ain't hurting anything, as long as it's not, super in super bad shape. And you'll see in a minute how this is all going to come together. So, see where I'm going with this? Look how nice of a junction that looks like, you know? And if you need it to stretch apart a little bit, you can always cut it, you know? But look how nice that is. Much better. You know, yeah, I could have done a nicer job overlapping it, but look, I'm not going to enter my Suburban into any car shows. So it doesn't have to be perfectly overlapped. I just want it to be protected from heat, and to hold up for a number of years, okay? So, what do you think? Isn't that a much nicer looking outcome than this fragile? I mean, look at this stuff. I mean, after a couple of years, this stuff just peels away and degrades, and the next thing you know, you're worried about wires getting chafed, and oh, what a mess. So hopefully that won't happen with this Tesa wrapped tape. All right, so I am not gonna bore you through rewrapping the entire. I mean, look, this is a mess. This is going to take me, you know, a while, multiple days to get this all rewrapped. All right. So I just wanted to do a little section of it just to show you the process, and at least my process anyway. All right. So I'm going to keep working on this until my headers arrive, and then once the headers arrive, I'm going to turn back to the engine, put the headers on, and then, by God, I think we'll be ready to install it. All right. Okay, a few moments ago, I showed you the project that I was working on, my wiring harness, while I was waiting for the headers to arrive. But guess what just arrived? Well, look what we have here. We've got some headers. All right. These are the shorty ones. So, you know, as I mentioned in a previous episode, I couldn't go long tube. So these ones looks like so we've got some gaskets, and we've got some bolts. So these are nice. And these are the ones that have the, I don't know what you call this, a flanger. I guess this is a exhaust pipe flange that bolts right up to the pipes that you have in stock. You have your exhaust manifold with this type of flange, and then you have your catalytic converter just downstream. So this should mount where the exhaust manifold would mount. So I don't have to do anything with modifying exhaust. Believe me, as much as I would love to have a custom exhaust, and someday I will, but not right now. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and put these shorty headers on, and gosh, we're getting really close here. All right, so we've got our headers. So obviously this is the driver's side, and I'm just gonna come over here and see how it's gonna mount up. All right, so clearly I need to take these spark plug wires off. I'm not sure why I put them on, because I kind of figured I'd have to do this anyway, but I think it was just for fun. Oh man, these things are on here tight. All right. So obviously I need to put the gasket on here, but I'm just putting it here just to see what the deal here is. All right. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts in the gasket. So let's go get our gasket. And here's our package with all the accessories. Exhaust manifold bolts have 2-stage. The initial stage is 11 foot-pounds, and the second stage is 15 to 18 foot-pounds. All right, and we kind of just mount it up here. All right. All right. And we're just gonna put one on the end here, just to kind of get things started. I've got a camera person tonight, so big thanks to my camera person for filming. All right. And then we'll put one on the other end. All right, so how many more bolts do we need? We need 1, 2, 3. These are 11 millimeter. These look pretty nice. What do you think? What do you think, camera person?
This looks nice.
These headers look nice?
Yeah. Shiny.
They're shiny. I don't think they're going to stay shiny, because once they get hot, then they change colors. But at least initially they look very nice. I'm going to go, I'm just going to snug them. So we're going to set this guy to 11. That's 10. That's 11. All right. And then we're probably just going to start from the inside and work our way out. Honestly, I don't like this big extension. I'm going to switch to a shorter. All right, we'll come back here. All right, and now one more pass, 15. All right, look at that. Don't those look beautiful? I think so. Camera person, do these look beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we're going to put these on just to see if there's going to be problems. Like the boot hitting the... Because if there's clearance issues, then I may need to get shorter wires. Yeah, so that's not good right there. You see what's happening? So this is a problem. When I put this in, it hits the exhaust. which is really not an uncommon problem. This happens with these, especially with headers. That one's fine. That one's fine. And this one, I'm guessing, is going to be fine. But this one is not fine. I am going to have to find a way to shorten this up because this is not good. I need to get wires with shorter boots because that, in other words, if I left it like that, that would burn off in a heartbeat because this gets super hot.
Yeah.
So I need to go back to the. So what does that mean? That means yet again another delay. So this is not an uncommon problem when you use shorty headers. I just need to find the right wires. Okay, and that's okay. I have other stuff on the way too. Like for example, I ordered a new torque converter. Okay, so I have a torque converter on the way. I didn't get a high stall one or anything like that. I just got a standard because I just don't think I need a high-end torque converter. But I did need a new torque converter because the Suburban torque converter now has a little shutter, a typical, it has a very common torque converter shutter at 45 miles per hour. So I do have that problem. I figured, you know what, while I pulled the engine out, I might as well just throw a new torque converter in there. So anyway, I got that. What else is on the way? A new radiator, a new, and then I also ordered online the hoses and the belts. So I'm gonna, I need to get those before I do the install. But and I'm thinking about getting a dress-up kit for the belts as well, or not the belts, the radiator hoses and the heater hoses. So I'm on the fence about that. I may just leave it go for now. We'll see. But anyway, I know this is a problem. We'll address this off air, and just rest assured that before this engine goes in the Suburban, this will be resolved. Okay. All the others are fine. It's just cylinder number. What is this? 7. Cylinder 7 is going to be the pain. So let's go ahead and do the other header, and then we'll wrap this up. See how hard these are to get off? Imagine trying to pull these off with the engine still in the car. And I have done that. I've changed the spark plugs with the engine still in the car. And let me tell you, this cylinder is a nightmare to get to. Okay, it's a nightmare. So we're coming now. Obviously, that came off pretty easy, but this dipstick's not going to cause a problem. And I can see right now it is because it's in the way. I don't know what I was thinking. So I shouldn't have put the dip. Lesson learned here for future engine builders: save the dipstick for the end, because clearly I need to put the exhaust manifold on first. We'll call that a beginner's mistake. I have the exhaust manifold on. So we're just going to set this just aside like that for a minute.
I don't know how to tell how much space there is.
All right, so now I'm going to put the dipstick back in because I'm kind of curious if this dipstick's even going to work out. To tell you the truth, I have my doubts. We'll just set this to 15 as well. Maybe go a little over. All right, now the big test. Let's see how the spark plug wires are going to hold up, and see if any are going to be in the way. 2 goes on fine. 4 goes on fine. Oh, this is going to be a closey. That's real close. That is real close. I mean, that may or may not work. And then 8 goes on fine. So what I may do is get a shorter wire for 6 and a shorter wire for 7. Okay, so looks like cylinder 2, there's plenty of space here for the spark plug wire. Cylinder 4, that looks pretty good. I'm not worried about it burning. Cylinder 6 is a little too close for comfort right here. Okay, I mean, it could probably work if I somehow was able to snag this up. Cylinder 8, no problem. Plenty of room here, even if I put this boot down. I don't think there's any risk of this touching. So, and on the driver's side, obviously cylinder 7 is a problem because this is touching. Cylinder 1, 3, 5. Cylinder 5 is fine. Cylinder 3, there's plenty of clearance, and cylinder 1, no problem at all. Okay, so what I'm going to have to look for is shorter spark plug wire boots, at least 2 of them. If I could find a whole set, maybe I'll just go ahead and change them all. But anyway, so my headers are on. I'm fairly satisfied. I know this beautiful chrome polished finish is not going to stay that way. But all in all, I think they look pretty good. And yeah, so that's the passenger side, and here's the driver's side, and we'll walk around and I'll show you the front. So there's the passenger side, and there is the driver's side. Okay. So, I don't know what else there's to put on. Clearly I need to put the, obviously the air conditioner compressor is not going to go in until, I'm going to actually use the original air conditioner compressor that's still in the Suburban out in the driveway. I'm not going to redo the entire AC right now. I'll save that for later if it needs it. Actually, the AC is actually quite ice cold, even at 240,000 miles. So we'll just reuse those old parts. I do need to put the starter on. Right now, I have one. I still have the fly or the flex plate holder device that locks it in place. So I am going to put the starter on, but I think I'm going to do that right when it's ready to go into the Suburban. I'm probably not going to put that on right now. Obviously, I need to do a few other odds and ends like the oil filter, and as I mentioned, I've got a new torque converter coming. I'm going to change the radiator. I'm going to I've got all new hoses coming for the upper hose and the lower hose. I've got hoses, the heater hoses. I have got. I probably still need to order heater hoses. Um, I may just use the old ones. We'll see. It depends on how corroded and caked up with gunk they are. I'm on the fence about whether I'm going to get a dress up kit for my radiator hoses to make it look like this. We'll see. And I've already got belts on the way. So there you have it. What an exciting moment. This engine is, for all intents and purposes, is done. Okay. Yeah, there's a few odds and ends I need to put on, but those can wait till the actual installation. Obviously, I need to finish prepping the intake manifold. That's not a big deal. I'll do that. Right. Actually, I'm not going to put that on until the engine is in the Suburban. So we've come a long way. 50 episodes to tear the engine down and to rebuild it. I've taken a lot of time. Have been very picky. I've gotten a lot of advice along the way, and so I'm just still a little bit nervous about how this is all going to turn out. I'm excited, yet I'm nervous because of all the effort I put into this. So again, if you've been along with me since the beginning, thanks so much. Appreciate the support. And if you've picked up anywhere along the way, be sure to follow me, because the next, I'm guessing, episode 51 is probably gonna be putting it on the trailer and getting it ready to transport. And I would imagine that episode 52, 2 episodes from now, I'm guessing we'll start doing the swap. So, and I've never done that either. So this is my very first engine I've rebuilt, but I've never actually pulled an engine out of any vehicle, let alone put one in. So if you have any advice for that, please pass that along in the comments. I've watched a bunch of YouTube videos on how to, remove an engine from a Suburban and put one in. My book here that I used to build the engine, to tear down and build, doesn't cover, installation and removal, because obviously that's beyond the scope of the book, and it's all different for different vehicles. So I have a suspicion that episodes, all the future episodes are going to be very interesting, because it's all stuff I've never done before. Obviously, I've never done this before, so this has been interesting. But in terms of engine removal and installation, that's going to be a real interesting ride. No pun intended. But and then of course, hopefully in a few episodes we'll be able to get this thing, the old engine torn out, new one put in, and it's going to be a little while though before we get the true results, because obviously the engine will need, once the engine's installed, then I'm taking the Suburban to a tune shop, where they're going to put it on a dyno and dial up the right settings and flash the computer. So I know that first drive to the tune shop is going to be a little rough, because the whole thing's out of whack in terms of settings that it's looking for and performance the engine is putting out. So anyway, let's see. So I think that's it. We're done. Exciting times. The engine's done. Let me turn the camera around one more time. So here it is. We're pretty much done. Few minor odds and ends I need to tweak still, but for all intents and purposes, this is done. Thank you for coming along for the ride, and be sure to stick with me for the installation and for the subsequent tune. Those steps I plan on recording as well, so hopefully you'll be able to watch as we remove and install remove the old engine, install the new one, And I'm hoping the dyno, the tune shop, will let me do some recording inside the shop, because I would love to get that on camera and show you all the steps and the results of the tune and everything like that. So I'm going to ask them. We'll see if they'll let me do some recording inside their shop, and hopefully I'll get that on camera too. So anyway, thanks so much for going along with me. Here we are, episode 50. 50 episodes. We've torn this engine down. We've rebuilt it. We're ready to install. So stick with me and let's get into doing that swap. Okay? Thanks so much.